Hello everybody and welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Ben from What Culture.
And I'm Jules.
And it's E3 time.
Woo! The hype train keeps on a-rolling.
Exactly. You thought it would stop at your local town? Too bad, fool.
You've missed it. You're
We're going
late.
to Hype City, Hypeville. Population, all of us.
So we're talking about Sony's press conference today.
We are.
It might look like I have notes here, but I don't. It's a Twix.
The Twix, we're proudly sponsored by Twix. They're delicious.
Can't say that,
Yum
can
yum
we?
caramel in your tum.
Can't say that,
what they
no
say.
matter how delicious they are.
Hooey, let's just listen to that crunch. You don't get that with other chocolate bars.
Right, okay. So we're going to be talking about the games, because let's face it, the presentation was a pretty dry presentation.
I woke up at 6 a.m. to watch this before I came into work. Not only did I get up an hour too early because it was only an hour long, but also it was weirdly, it was punchy, and there was a cool display where they had like sound effects all around the venue, and they had bits of props come on and lights all over the audience and stuff, which is very cool, but it did feel weirdly devoid of life, which is what a lot of the conferences have been this year. They felt weirdly vacant of personality.
No one's really like pushing out the boat when it comes to having fun. It seems everyone's just kind of like.
Apart from Devolver Digital's conference,
Oh,
you should
that
go
was-
and watch that. It's
that's
15
the
minutes
best.
long. It's a parody E3 conference, and it's brilliant.
That is the best one. But we're not talking about Devolver, we are talking about Sony, those big boys who now don't have the most powerful toy on the market, because the Xbox has been very clearly pushing with their Xbox One X.
Yes.
So now they are no longer.
Don't buy a PC.
Yeah,
Don't you even think about it.
Now Sony are basically just saying, remember when we were the most powerful thing on the boat? Look at all the games we've got. They're focusing on that now, which is great. They kicked off by talking about Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yes.
Now, you're a big Uncharted fan, aren't
I
you?
love Uncharted.
I
have an Uncharted tattoo.
Oh, you do, don't you? Yeah, I've only played 1 and 3. I feel like I've missed out on quite a lot. But from what I saw, this looks really interesting.
Yes.
So, who are those characters?
So you've got Chloe Fraser, who seems to be the protagonist in this one, who was
Cool.
a love interest / backstabby friend of Drake's in Uncharted 2.
Oh, good.
And she also appeared in Uncharted 3 as well.
Wicked.
And she was referenced a lot in Uncharted 4, but you never actually saw her. So this is a rewind story featuring her and Nadine, who is the leader of the mercenaries in Uncharted 4. Who is actually an antagonist, but she's literally just being paid to be an antagonist. So
That's cool.
She doesn't really care either way. So clearly they've all crossed paths at some point. Maybe Drake will pop up, but it looks like they're going on an adventure of their own, and it's all kicking off. And even though it's a standalone thing, it's going to be about 10 hours long. And it's
That sounds
releasing at a
fantastic.
budget price as
I
well.
mean, to be honest, we saw the success of releasing sort of standalone stuff in The Witcher 3 with the, Blood and Wine, whatever it was.
Yeah, Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone, whatever.
So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. I will.
You did need the game for those, but they were excellent.
But you don't need the game for this one. This
Don't
is
need the
free.
game for this one,
Fantastic.
you can buy the standalone.
I'll probably pick this one up then, and then retroactively go back all the other games. So,
Yes.
that was great. Next one.
Yeah.
Oh, look, another expansion, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, there's a big Thunder Mountain.
And a big Thunder Cat.
Big Thundercats, yeah. Maybe the Power Rangers are in it. They had one of those,
I
didn't
mean,
they?
it looked very Zordy, didn't it?
It did.
The dino, white dino.
I actually, because I had some extra time this morning after not needing to stay up for the conference as long as I thought, I actually went on to Horizon Zero Dawn and finally platinumed it. Collected the last
nice.
couple of things.
Round of applause for Ben. Come on, guys, clap at
Platinum
home.
119.
This is a clapnum for you.
Clappenham.
Yeah.
Nice. That's it. That's what you get here.
It looks great.
Looks great,
The
yeah.
only thing is, I have noticed with these two things we just talked about, I don't think they're adding anything new necessarily into the game. It just seems to be like, there's the core experience, and here's just some more of it. Which can't, to be honest, they're both great games from what I've heard. So
My only concern, and would be my concern for a sequel as well, is that part of the best part, and we're speaking quite fast so we can get through it, the best part of Horizon Zero Dawn, for me and a lot of people, was the mystery of how the world got to be the way it was. And once that had finished, it kind of lopsided a little bit. It wasn't as interesting.
Right.
So they're going to need a really hooking narrative here to drive this one home.
fingers crossed for
Yes.
that one though, as well. Now let's talk about a new one, Days Gone.
Yes.
That's mixed feelings.
They closed E3 with it last year, where it was running
everyone
away from
went,
loads of
"Woo."
zombies. I didn't get it, to be honest. I think it looks a little bit wonky. I'm tired of zombies. They're sort of combining open world. It's kind of an open world, The Last of Us.
There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It looks great.
Looks fine.
The physics seem pretty on point for such a large amount of bodies on screen at
lots
once.
of scary zombies all sprinting.
But you're totally right. It did feel very Last of Us. They tried to almost ape the Last of Us kind of like comedy back and forth in a serious situation that was. I don't know. I'm definitely going to keep my eye on it. But it's just not one of those things that I'd define as a system seller.
I'm interested, but I think a lot of people, for some reason, and I'm not sure why, think Bend is the best studio ever, Sony Bend, and I think that's because there was a podcast called PS I Love You, and they were huge fans of Sony Bend, and really all they worked on was some mobile titles and some ports, and they clearly have some big shoes to fill in terms of they want to step up and they want to make something big, but I think a lot of people are getting swept up in that. Oh my God, it's Sony Bend, they're doing something, and actually they're not the most. They haven't got the best track record of games, so I wouldn't get too carried away.
This one looks like it could just be a game by numbers, to be honest. They've ticked a lot of boxes, but none of those boxes are outside of the box. See what I did there? We'll
just have to see, won't we?
Right, next one, Monster Hunter World. I f***ing love Monster Hunter.
This is huge, isn't it? Because Monster Hunter hasn't appeared on a PlayStation console since PSP.
Yeah, long time, and it looks amazing.
Graphically, it's incredible. As soon as I saw the guy with the massive sword that looked like it was made out of bones, I was like, is this Monster Hunter?
It's either going to be Final Fantasy Primal or it's going to be Monster
Fantasy Primal. Yeah.
But like honestly, it looked like they're adding so much to it. The grapple hook thing looked amazing. The stealth bit looked. I don't know if I was a dinosaur, I probably would still see a guy with a massive sword in his head if he's just chucked a few leaves over him, but still, that's a feature. And also the tracking thing with him like scraping off bones and getting sense as to where the monster's going to be. And what looked really fun was when at the very end he shot up his flare and the 3 other players on the pterodactyls flew along and they joined him, so that possibly suggests that we've got drop-in, drop-out cooperative gameplay.
You could do that on the PSP version. I think you could do 2-player co-op on the 3DS version.
Fantastic.
Sure. Hasn't been on PlayStation for ages. Looks really cool. Although they are going up against other games that are on PlayStation at the moment, like Horizon, where you see a massive monster and you have to plan to take it down.
Very true.
Not quite as in depth as Monster Hunter, but there are other games that are doing that very well now. So fingers crossed they can.
I want this to succeed because I want more Monster Hunter games on my PS.
It'll do ridiculous numbers in Japan either way.
Oh, and also let's not forget that final little clip of him pulling out the Barbie and then roasting some chicken or that meat.
Whatever
that was good. Big fan of that.
I could eat that for days.
Shadow of the Colossus HD. It's Shadow of the Colossus in HD.
Yeah, they've already remastered it. Yeah, it's just to be fair, just to quickly say, it shows how timeless the Colossi are in that they looked completely unchanged.
Yeah.
But you could tell that they've redone the character models.
Yes.
Being done by Bluepoint, who did the Uncharted ports, and they're very good at doing ports, basically.
I mean, to be honest, it's an instant buy for me because I need that game in my life.
I haven't played it for a long time. I'll probably buy it too.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
You like that?
I love this, but I don't love this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know, right? I love the franchise. Obviously, as I destroyed everyone last week on Twitch on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and also went to Blompierre's house and destroyed him on Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Oh. I was very excited for this one. It's the fleshed out story mode looks quite interesting with the whole sort of like, Ultron working with bad guys, Thanos, blah, 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 blah. Power Stones seem to be a big thing in this one, and apparently they've influenced the gameplay where you select one before each battle, and apparently you can call on its powers to give you sort of like either speed boosts or damage boosts.
Okay.
That's cool. Weirdly though, they've taken it from a 3 versus 3 down to a 2 versus 2. Not too keen on that.
Right.
Don't know why they've done that.
It's because you get an Infinity Stone.
Possibly, and I'm not really impressed with the graphics. The Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had this kind of like cartoony vibe to it, and I think that really worked for how silly some of the characters are.
Right.
Whereas this one, not so much. They've gone for a kind of a bit more realistic Street Fighter 4 style, and Chun-Li's face just looks weird. And Gamora's face looks weird. All the faces look weird.
Yeah, they do. Gamora didn't look right.
But you know what? It's about the gameplay, so if that stands up, and we actually got told that there's a demo for the story.
A story demo, yeah.
And we're downloading this right now on the Work PS4. Me and Blompier are going to play that in a bit.
Cool, look out for that.
I'll let you know how that is. On to the next one, Shooty Shooty Bang Bang, Call of Duty World War II.
I mean, you knew this was Call of Duty, but at the same time, it didn't look very Call of Duty. It seems they've got the idea that people are getting tired of Call of Duty, so they've just backed the hell up. Because normally we'd get a gameplay demo and it'd be you'd have like a little diamond icon on where you have to go next, and you'd have the amount of meters away you have to go. You'd shoot someone, it would have the same hit marker that it's had for 10 years.
And somebody would say checkpoint in the top left.
Yeah,
or, like every time
checkpoint
you step
reached,
forward.
and it'll like have intel come up in the corner.
Yeah.
To be fair, they didn't show gameplay in the sense that it was someone just playing the game. It was a trailer, but it looked really good.
I was really impressed with it. Do you know what I was super impressed by was World War II, everyone thinks of browns and greens and dark versions of both, whereas this one had quite a lot of orange and blue in it, and it was quite colourful for what is a very depressed... Yeah, for a lot of death.
It's going to be a lot of death.
A lot of detail in the map world itself, lots of like little bits of debris flying about. I thought that was really good. Again, like you say, it's not indicative of what we're going to get as a final product, but from what I saw, I'm actually, for the first time in 4 years, thinking about Call of Duty again.
They also showed a zoom out of a map of Europe with red dots in various places where I assume you'll be playing. Looked like there was a couple of locations in the UK, which
that'd
is
be
interesting. Good. Maybe before you set off for D-Day and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Just having a tussle in Leeds, that'd be good.
Oh yeah.
Da-da-dum, 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 here it is again. It's Skyrim now. It's VR compatible.
Looks wonky. Combat is wonky anyway. In VR, with the guys, you're going up against someone, it's like a troll, and it just goes, like that. It just looks crap. It looks crap. I have a PlayStation VR, and I want games to play on it. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play Skyrim in VR. It's going to be weird.
I'm bored of Skyrim already.
I'm so tired of Skyrim.
And the fact that we've had it twice announced, like, this conference so far. Anyway, it's there if you want it.
It's happening.
The Inpatient.
Yes, Supermassive Games. I'm surprised there wasn't like a ooh when it was Supermassive Games. Of course, Until Dawn, Supermassive Games, making a horror VR game. Don't know anything about it really. It's set in an asylum, it looks like.
I liked Until Dawn, so if they can even just make that in VR, but in a mental asylum.
Another one.
Yeah, just make Until.
I'm surprised Until Dawn 2 isn't coming. Doesn't need
Till Dawn.
Exactly.
Until 2.
Oh, anyway.
Final Fantasy Extreme Fishing.
Woo! Another VR game. Glad I spent £350 on that. No, of course not. So I can sit in a car and look at people.
But Noctis was there.
Noctis sure was.
He was there. I mean, I'm not a fan of...
Only if you get to throw Prompto in front of the car and run him over.
I like Final Fantasy, and I really like what they did with Final Fantasy 15. Not too sure I want to see the same guys having a good old chill time in the fish.
I platinumed Final Fantasy 15. I did. I really liked it, but I don't want to play it in VR. It's just...
Again, it's there if you want it.
Yeah,
go for it.
They're doing it.
Moss. The little mouse, where you're a face, you're like a tiki mask.
Yeah, like a weird ghost face, like an anime ghost face, Studio Ghibli ghost face. God knows what that's going to be, but whatever.
Anything that involves cutesy animals and puzzles and kind of a semi-relaxed vibe, apart from the Viper at the end. Yeah, I'm up for that.
If they're doing, just do interesting things with VR. I don't need a gun in VR.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Do you know what? I found this quite weird. They, the way that they structured all of the games was quite odd, because they went from Moss to God of War.
Yeah.
Now,
and
talk about a tone shift.
The orchestra back again.
Yeah. I was blown away. I thought that looked spectacular.
I need to watch it again because I was half asleep.
Fair enough.
But it did look great. Obviously, a lot of people knowing almost immediately that boy was Kratos' son.
Yeah.
But I wasn't entirely convinced. Obviously now he's definitely, we know that. But in the original one, it was still a bit ambiguous, I thought, because he just called him boy.
Yeah.
And also it looked like he'd just rocked up and was maybe living at that house.
Yeah, true.
And the mum of the boy was looking after. I don't know. Either way, it's happening.
The combat looks insane.
Just cut people's heads off.
Oh man, if it is like that in the actual game in that amount of detail, then that's going to feel so cathartic to cut through all of those sort of weird lava zombie sort of things.
Norse monster things.
And he gets to play as the boy, it seems as well. He was having a good old...
Yeah, there's a little bit of boy stuff in there.
Stabbing some dude in the eye.
Cray boy.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's not much I can say about this other than I just want to... I want it now. I want it now.
Also looks like they've got a strong story in there as well.
Yes.
And some character development for the big, angry, shouty, bold man.
Yeah, he wasn't shouting and angry as much. He was actually giving a reason as to why you need to dissociate yourself from emotion to kill.
He looks so tired.
Yeah, he does.
Kratos looks so tired.
If I worked out and had Peter Austin's skin, I might eventually look like him.
God, maybe we can persuade Peter Austin to get big red tattoos.
I was going to say to get a tan.
Or to get a tan. No, Peter Austin doesn't tan because he is, of course, covered with the ashes of his wife and children who were murdered by Ares, the god of war.
That's very true.
Actually,
very,
no,
very
Ares got him to murder his own children, and now he's angry. I wonder where his chains have gone. I want to know where his little blades have gone. Blades of chaos.
But he has a boomer axe.
He certainly does.
So,
wasn't it nice of that big sea serpent to spit it back to him?
Again, also had a beard.
Yes, everyone's got beards. It's
Fantastic. It's the new old-fashioned trend. Right, okay. Detroit Become Human.
Still very excited for that. Big fan of wonky David Quaid and his strange festival of circus freaks.
QTEs.
Yeah, QTEs. I really liked Beyond.
He's a QTE.
And he sure is.
He is, isn't he?
He put himself in Fahrenheit.
I know he did.
Which is ridiculous.
And then a dance scene.
It was,
something to do with that.
Anyway.
But it looks really, really cool. I think that they've gone... that last year when they showed the first images of it.
Yeah, I think the trailer that they showed last year was better, personally.
It was more emotional than this one, I felt. This one was much more action focused, but you are now starting to see the world they live in from the different sides, because when it said, oh, there's going to be multiple stories, in Heavy Rain, again, they were characters with different backgrounds, but they all existed within the same mindset, effectively.
Yes.
Whereas this was very different. One obviously being a police investigator, and one being an anarchist,
freedom fighter android thing.
Really looking forward to it, and it looked fantastic, graphically, just super impressed.
They've always been at the forefront, Quantic Dream, with that sort of tech, the facial tech and the emotions.
And if they keep on doing more big decisions like they showed, run, hide, pretend to be a couple seem to be one of the things. If they can give more sort of interesting options like that, then I see this game doing very well. Fingers crossed it's not another Beyond Two Souls.
And even if it is, its wonky, broken brilliance is kind of what I liked about it. Even though I knew objectively a terrible game, but I liked it because it was different and strange.
It made me feel like a Willem Dafoe. Spider-Man. The Spider-Man, the PS4 man. Are you talking about this later, or have you already...
This video might already be out. Peter, Austin and I had a discussion about breaking down the trailer and stuff. I really like the look at this.
Me too.
This is probably my highlight of the conference, the Spider-Man.
Well, all you need to know about that then is to watch the video that comes out with Ben and Peter talking about that. And that I thought that it was bloody nice as well, and reminded me of a positive Batman game.
Yes.
Everything was just kind of nice and happy and more comic booky than the gritty...
Yeah, colourful Arkham.
Yeah, that's a great name for it. Yeah. And that was the Sony E3 2017 conference.
Yeah, it was bookended by Sean Is it Sean Layden? The Sony exec.
That dude. Nice guy.
Lovely man. All the Sony execs seem really nice.
Yeah, there's not been a bad executive. I was hoping that, for the E3 conference, somebody would come out maniacally laughing, shrouded.
Mark Cerny looks like he is the Joker, though.
Oh yeah, he does.
The way he talks, and his really soft hello, he just looks a bit dangerous and unhinged. He just wants to make Knack 2, Jules.
Yeah, he
just
does.
Wants to make
he's
Knack
desperate
2.
to make that. Desperate.
I went onto his account on PS4 because you can find him, and he does have the platinum in Knack 1. He loves it.
He must be the only.
He's the only guy. He's the only guy who's played it. Knack 2, Mark Cerny.
Oh yeah. So anyway, that's what you can take away from this conference. Knack 2 is coming out in 2019. There's nothing really more to say about that, really.
No,
apart from watch the rest of our E3 coverage.
Yes.
He's been Ben.
He's been Jules.
Thank
Sorry.
you. That's okay.
I didn't know what we were doing.
That's fine. And we have been from What Culture Gaming. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Follow the rest of our coverage. We'll see you soon. Bye.